Hey everyone, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we have this 2023 Toyota Prius and we're going to do the Taillight Tint installation for this vehicle. So as you can see, this is how it looks before the installation and this is how it looks after the installation. So the tint has PPF properties, which means it will protect the lenses from yellowing over time, as well as protect it from any small scratches or any road debris that might hit the lens. If you like the product, link for the product will be down in the description below. But with that being said, let's start with the installation video. So the tools you need in order to install the tint kit will be Slip Solution, Tack Solution, a heat gun, squeegee, and a microfiber towel. And a step-by-step guide in order to create the two solutions will be in the description below. So before starting the installation, we want to make sure we prep the tail light. So to prep it, apply Slip Solution to the tail light lenses. And with a clean microfiber towel, just go all around and make sure you start removing any contaminants that the tail light lens might have. Okay, so we're going to start by installing this section of the tail light tint first. So to start by applying Slip Solution onto the tail light and Slip Solution onto the tint as well. And with this one, you want to start by aligning it from one side first. So it doesn't matter what side you want to start off, just as long as you make sure whichever side you pick, you align it right on the edge. So let's start with this side. Let's align it here. So place this down. We'll just place it down, that way it doesn't fall off. And with this one, start by aligning the bottom half of the tint here to the bottom half of this curve here. So it should be like this, and it should be right on the edge like that. Now that we have it aligned, lift the film, apply Tack Solution, make sure it's still aligned, and start tacking down the film. So you should have a little bit of excess material to go just underneath the lens here. You should have a little bit of excess material also on top, just so you can lay it on top of the tail light here. So now that we have this section secured, we can move on and stretching the rest of the film. So to stretch it, we're gonna need to lift the film here and stretch it until it reaches this edge here of the tail light. So to stretch it, apply Slip Solution onto the tail light and place it back down. And the same steps that we did on that end, we're just going to do it here. So just make sure you align it right on the edge. So do a light stretch, and remember, just have a little bit of material to go underneath here and just a little bit to be on top as well. Make sure you're good all across, have it aligned. So roughly around there. Once you stretch the film and it's on the edge here, lift the film and apply Tack Solution underneath and on top of the film, and then hold it in place and start tagging it down. Okay, and now we could work on with the rest of the film here in the middle. So now that we have it aligned, the first thing we're going to do is make sure we remove any solution that's in the middle section here. That way we're not left with any water bubbles behind the film once we finish sealing it. So to remove any solution behind this middle section, just apply Tack Solution on top. That way our squeegee is able to glide more easy. We're able to remove any solution that's behind the film. So start from the middle first. Bring all of the solution down. Make sure there's no bubbles left behind. Now we can continue with the bottom piece, so just make sure you're bringing all the solution down. And for this little small curve here, just apply Tack Solution and heat just to help it tack down to this curve section here. So a little bit of Tack Solution, and with your heat gun, just go here, and then after you're finished, squeegee it down. Okay, and we would just rinse and repeat to this side too. So just go across. Make sure you're removing any solution behind the film. And if you're having a hard time tacking this part down, just do the same steps that we did on that end. Just apply Tack Solution and heat and then squeegee it. Everything should tack down to this curve. But just make sure before you do that, you remove any solution behind the film, because once you apply heat, you're basically sealing the film and you're going to have a hard time removing those water bubbles or any solution that's left behind the film. And now we finish off with the top piece. So just start from the middle and squeegee all the solution going up. And you just rinse and repeat this whole process until you reach this end. And then you would go to this side as well. Just make sure you wipe everything off to double check and see if you remove any solution, to double check and see if you left any water bubbles behind the film. If you still see some, just remove them, just double check. But once you see that everything's good to go, now we can move on with this section of the installation here. So now we're moving on to this piece here. So with this one, just start off by applying slip solution onto the lens and slip solution to your tint film. And you want to start by aligning it to this edge first. And the same steps that we did with this one, you would just basically rinse and repeat for this one. And what I mean by that is give yourself enough material to just tuck in and cover this piece here, and a little bit of material to cover this top section here. So have it basically almost in the middle. You can kind of see how to adjust it when you place it. And if you see you have enough material to cover the top and the bottom, you should be good. But if you feel that you still need a little bit more down or up, just move it to your liking until you see where it's fit. Just make sure not to have too much excess, because if you have excess, let's say on the top, it's gonna look like this, where it curves in and then it lifts, and we don't want that. So the film just needs to sit flat on the top edge here of the tail light. So it should look flat like that, let's say. So just lift the film and apply slip solution and align it, adjust it, and that should be a good position right there where it covers the top piece and it goes in the bottom as well. So just apply tack solution, hold it in place and tack it down slowly, and then tack down the top piece, that way it doesn't move, and then the bottom. And now everything else should just lay flat. You don't require any stretching here because the tint already covers the whole set of the taillight here, of the red color here. So it just lays there. So just squeegee everything and then tack down the top. And you just do the same for the bottom. Squeegee at an angle. Make sure you're bringing all of the solution behind the film towards the bottom so you can remove it. Squeegee at an angle and tack it down. So it should look flush like this. But if you do have small fingers coming up, just add a little bit of tack solution and heat and it should be all gone. And it should sit like this. For this section here, I do recommend just applying a little bit of tack solution and heat because it does have like a small curve here, just so we could help the film tack down better to this section. So just a little bit of tack solution and use the heat gun and then squeegee it to tack down. Okay, so before we move on, just double check and make sure there's no water bubbles or any solution behind the film. If you feel that it's flat, then that's a good indication that all of the solution is gone. Make sure to just double check nothing's lifting. If there is something lifting, like on the edge or anywhere on the tail light, just apply heat and tack solution and squeegee it down. But once you're done and everything's good to go, we can move on with the last piece here. So to start with this installation, just apply slip solution onto the lens and slip solution onto the tint. Just align it on this section first. And for this one, just make sure you have enough material to cover everything in the middle. And the top portion of this tint should just go align with the bottom half section of this piece that we installed. So it should just go right underneath here. It's not going to overlap or it's not going to meet it. It's just going to be right underneath it. And the bottom section here is just going to be close to the edge here as well. So as you can see right here, so it should look like this, aligned to the edge, almost close to it, but not exactly towards the bottom, and just enough to be underneath the other tint here. So once you have it aligned, lift the film and apply tack solution underneath and on top of the film. Hold it in place and start squeezing to tack it down. And then you would just finish off with the rest of the installation here. So if you do come across this little finger here, just lift the film to readjust it and then just place it back down. Tack the rest down as you go so we could help the film tack down. So it should be like this. We're just helping the film sit to the tail light. That's pretty much it. We don't require any stretching. It's just helping it tack down with your finger and then you squeegee afterwards. And if this piece is lifting because of this small curve here, just do the same thing that we did for this section. Apply a little bit of tack solution and with heat, squeegee it down and you should be good. Just make sure before we finish sealing everything that there's no water bubbles behind the film. So just squeegee them, remove them before we add any more heat. So double check. Okay, looks good. No water bubbles behind the film. So once we finish checking and making sure that there's no water bubbles behind the film, we can move on with the last thing, which is post heating the whole film. That way we help the adhesive on the tint activate faster and it sticks better to the tail light. Okay, so the last thing to do once you finish installing the whole tint kit for the tail light, just apply tack solution all around the film. And with your heat gun and the microfiber towel, just go all around and start applying heat. That way we're able to help the adhesive on the film activate faster and it sticks better to the tail lights and the film doesn't lift over time. So just post heat all around. Okay, so that concludes the installation video for the Taillight tints for the 2023 Toyota Prius. We hope that this video helped you guys out with the installation. If it did, don't forget to drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe and turn on that notification bell. That way you don't miss any upcoming installation videos. Thank you so much for watching and we'll see you in the next one.